Gavrilo Princip and the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand. On Sunday, June 28, 1914, Serbian nationalist Nedeljko Čebrinović threw a bomb at the back of a car carrying Archduke Franz Ferdinand. The bomb rolled off and wounded around 20 people behind the Archduke instead. Not the best start to an assassination that would lead to World War I. In 1914, Europe looked a little different from today. Most of the continent was divided between three major powers: the German Empire, Russian Empire, and the Austro-Hungarian Empire, with France, Italy, and a few other countries squashed in. It was that last one, the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and its strained relations with its southern neighbor, Serbia, that is key to understanding why the assassination occurred. Serbia had grown to detest Austria-Hungary after it occupied its neighbor called Bosnia-Herzegovina, first in 1878 and formally in 1908. Bosnia-Herzegovina contained a sizable Serb minority and was therefore believed by Serbian nationalists that it ought to be part of their own country. Serbia overthrew their pro-Austro-Hungary rulers some years earlier in 1903 and had established a government that wasn't too fond of the empire. By 1914, these tensions only increased as Serb and Bosnian Serb nationalists stoked the flames of the slowly growing fire by creating militant organizations to obtain their territorial objectives. And Franz Ferdinand's political desires, significant as he was next in line as the Emperor of Austria-Hungary, only fueled their anger. Ferdinand was in favor of a more unified empire, where its Slavic citizens in southeastern Europe would get better political representation. While sounding great on paper, to Serbian nationalists it would accomplish nothing but weakening their goals for a separate, larger Serbian nation, and so sought to prevent it. In May 1911, the Black Hand was formed, although back then it was better known as Unification or Death. It was a secret revolutionary organization whose name tied in with its ultimate goal to break the southern provinces from the Austro-Hungarian Empire and create an enlarged, supposedly ethnically united Kingdom of Serbia. Although not part of the Black Hand, young, poor Bosnian Serb Gavrilo Princip, who had been radicalized since his youth, shared their sentiments and had befriended other radicals determined to change the tide of history, later being introduced to the Young Bosnia group. Like many others, he believed Serbia had a moral duty to free Yugoslavs still under Austro-Hungarian control. Princip was just 19 when he met other Bosnian Serbs like himself after traveling to and living in Belgrade. Some of these later co-conspirators were students, others were already revolutionary exiles because of their socialist beliefs. Over the last 10 years leading up to 1914, there had been multiple attempts on government officials' lives by other nationalists. The most notable of this was Bogdan Zarajic, who attempted to assassinate General Marijan Varashani, governor of Bosnia in Sarajevo in 1910. He shot 5 times in his direction before turning the gun on himself. This is one of the events that spurred on Princip and his co-conspirators just a few years later. In 1913, relations between Bosnia and the rest of the empire had reached an all-time low. A state of emergency was declared by General Oskar Peturek, leading to the dissolution of the Bosnian parliament, the imposition of martial law, and the shutdown of Serbian cultural and educational societies. This, of course, only incited Princip's rage further, and he formed a group with 2 other friends, Nedeljko Čebrinović and Trifko Grebesh, whose goal was to ultimately follow the earlier Zarajic's example, but with more successful results. They were not the only ones who had such designs. The Black Hand, who Princip was already friendly with, were already busy forming their own plans. In Sarajevo, a prominent member of the organization, Daniel Ilic, sent Čebrinović a note, a newspaper clipping regarding the Archduke's planned visit, and a single word in the margins: greetings. Čebrinović showed the paper to Princip, who had the same thought. This was their opportunity. This was not the young men's first encounter. Ilic and Princip were already friends, along with Jabrinovic and all members of the Young Bosnia Group, a revolutionary anti-Austro-Hungary group. Ilic would later claim he coordinated the attack completely, although in truth he had been less the puppeteer than the puppet. From there, the three boys consulted Major Tankosic, a Serbian officer and one of the founders of the Black Hand, who agreed to provide the group with weapons to carry out the attempt. They sent word to Ilic, who immediately organized things in Bosnia itself, arranging to send 3 other young revolutionaries to meet the others in Sarajevo. Their names were Sjeljko Popovic, Vaso Chubrilovic, and Mehmed Bestić. Armed with 6 bombs, 4 pistols, and a cyanide pill, each to be taken immediately after the assassination, the 7 young Bosnians began their attempt. It was June 28, 1914,